All right, guys. So I'm gonna shoot out. I'm gonna try to give a good intro to my man right here. He is known as the Black Unicorn, an energetic explosion that has a groove that is quickly contagious. Very true.
Okay.
I've been a part of it. He has 3 groovy singles out: "To Be There," "She's Bad," "Come Here Baby." "She's Bad's my favorite. And also he has near 6K followers on Instagram, so check that out. And I like to call him a friend. He is a friend, and I love him. He's so awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Sanpriest.
Sam,
Let's go.
first of all,
First
I've
ever.
been keeping my eye on my following, not because I'm obsessed with it, but
Yeah.
because I'm happy because I've made genuine connections with
You
these
have.
people. Like my following are from shows, or from me walking up to people just having conversations,
Yeah.
or from before I started doing music, my funny stuff. Like people genuinely liked me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like,
Yes.
oh, let me just follow. It wasn't about the following in regards to I'm obsessed with it. It
Yeah.
just shows like, hey, you're leaving a marker on this world, one
Yeah.
person at a time.
Yeah.
So to see that you noticed it too, I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and I want to get into that because I think I saw that up close yesterday. You performed the Charlotte Shout Festival,
I did.
which is a huge deal. Like, not many people get this opportunity. It is fantastic. It goes on for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And this
It's
is
like
the opening
17
weekend.
days.
Yeah, and this is the opening weekend. And you were at a prime spot. You were at 6 o'clock, and I got to see you live, which was a fantastic deal. I loved it. And one thing I just wanted to get into to start off was I look out into the audience because I was in the audience myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I look behind me because I have to be up front seeing you perform.
Okay.
And I just see not just great energy, but I see kind of all walks of life just kind of come up. It's kids dancing. I think you saw the one kid that was in the front just hitting almost like a cat daddy while you were singing. And like just amazing different groups of people enjoying your music. And I just wanted to ask, like, because you've been doing music for a long time, but I think this is when you have not.
No.
I thought you have. I thought it was like 8 years. Really?
Like I got my degree in music performance.
Okay.
But I didn't do music the way that I never knew how I wanted to do music.
Okay.
I didn't start doing introducing myself as Sanpriest into maybe like it was going on my 4-year anniversary.
Yeah.
But my first time actually taking it serious with my own original music, it's only been like 2 years.
Okay. Okay. Wow, that's impressive. And well, I'll be honest, it didn't seem like it. I mean, I've seen you a few times, and I really not only do I love the energy because the energy you're built off of just something where if you're dancing, everybody else is dancing, and it's special.
Yeah.
But one thing I did want to ask is like the connections. I think as artists, and I'm an artist myself, but like
Great one.
it's one of the most powerful feelings when not only people connect with your music, but they tell you something that's more. It's like, man, you made me feel this way, and it's been a minute since I've felt that. And I was curious, like when people tell you that, because I know you got a lot of that from this festival that you performed.
I did.
Like, how does that feel, and what have you received from it?
So one, for me, I was in a world where I was constantly trying to share my music.
Yeah.
Starting out, no one would give me the time of day. I started just showing up to events, looking for opportunities. Wouldn't take no for for an answer, but I was always polite about it. There's etiquette to things.
Yeah.
Just because someone says no the first time, it doesn't mean you have to take it, but you need to make sure that you work on your approach for the second time.
Yeah.
You have to sell yourself. So I kept trying to sell myself to friends, family. Nobody took it seriously. So to see it, to perform it, because I performed at Shout last year, but I was with a band. So I was doing cover work, but I was like, I want to do this with my music.
Yeah.
And so I just submitted my form, and I said, all right. I said my prayer, and I said, all right, God, if this is for me, it's going to happen.
Yeah. And it happened.
And it happened. So when I walk onto the stage, and before I talk
Which
about
was a big stage, by the way.
it was
I was like, oh, this is covering a park. This is covering a park.
I'm only about 6.5, so I'm thinking like, okay, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a stage. So I get out of my car,
Thing was
walk
massive.
to the field, and I look, and I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Bro, this is a
real.
big stage. This
Uh-huh.
is really going to happen. What are you going to do? But before I even talk about the people in the audience, I want to talk about the band.
Yeah.
The band had such an energy of, we support you, we believe in you. Mind you, I come from a world where the only person that believed in it was me. So to now walk into a new era in life where people actually love what I do, they
Yeah.
believe in what I do, to share the same stage with those type of people, the energy was already
Good.
boosted. Everybody came to me and said, "We about to kill this. We about to kill this." To the point where I was like, "You know what? We about to kill this shit." And I literally started to convince myself that we were going to do a great job. I manifested over the stage.
I love it.
So then I look out and I see friends, I see family, and I see a whole bunch of people that I'm about to give them the Sanpriest experience because they don't know what's coming their way.
I love it.
I was hyped for it.
Yeah.
And people try, like, I had my godparents travel from Maryland. My best friend, she flew in from New York.
Yeah.
And she told me, she's like, I couldn't miss this because I remember the conversations that we had on the couch years ago about you telling me this is what you wanted to do. So to see faces out there like that, it made me feel good. It made me feel like I was doing what I was put on this earth to do.
Which you are put on this earth to do that.
And it gave me a sense of confidence.
Yeah.
Because even me, I still get in my head like, maybe not. But I've started to release that and say, no, you deserve every good thing that comes your way.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that's something that obviously I've seen you perform a few times. And I think my next question is going to be more revolved around the confidence aspect of it. Because I think I've noticed this about you. Obviously, you get on stage and there's a presence, there's a feeling, and it's something that you don't teach. And I've seen it with other artists. There's stuff that you have to learn, but then there's stuff where it's personality and it's confidence and it's something that is unmatched if you give it to the right people. And give me like a minute or two on where did that come from, but also just like, was there a point where it was hard? Because I think that I know there's a lot of people that might watch this that say like it is hard to be in front of an audience and see like, my goodness, like I actually have to perform, I have to be perfect. But in reality, in my opinion, it's not about perfection, it's about just uniqueness and beauty. So tell me a little bit about kind of that side of where the confidence came from, but also the hardships of it.
So the confidence came from, one, I've always wanted to sing.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to. Every time I would watch movies and things like that, I would just, I can do
it. It's so easy. Like, it's so easy. Yeah, oh my gosh. Are you a sing in the car person too?
I'm a sing in the car, sing in the shower.
I'm bad.
Sing in the closet.
You never want to catch me on a highway singing in the car. It's bad. Like, I need to drive better.
Oh God. Stop looking up the words.
I know. I need to. But go on.
Have Siri read them to you.
True.
But I will say, so I've always wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And so I did choir, but I just didn't have that confidence to sing the way I knew I could at home. Like when I'm singing around my mom actually was the one who I would sing with. That's who kind of got me into singing. She would hit these high notes. I would try to be like her because that's my mom.
Did y'all have a song? Like me and my mother had a song.
We've made so many songs. That's why I really know. That's how I know how to write music.
Okay.
We will always make catchy hooks.
Got you. Because that's how you start. You have to go that way.
Also about hooks. I always say this is for a musician.
Yeah.
Your hook is your business card because you don't pass them out all the time, but you want them to walk out still singing your music. So you have to give them something that they remember even when they drive home.
That's really good.
But sorry, getting back onto the question because I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah.
What was the question? Just kidding. But no, when it came down to the confidence, it really kicked in for me when I started doing musical theater.
Yeah.
Because my first job doing musical theater, I got paid for.
Good.
So I had to find it's good. It's like dope to say, but you signed a contract.
Yeah.
And they are paying you to deliver on a job.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to fail, because you sign a contract, and also that's how you get paid.
Yeah.
So it's just like either you sink or you swim, and I just allowed myself to just say, all right, you have to be this character.
Yeah.
You have to develop this character, and that's when I started to get comfortable with performing.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful to musical theater because it helped me develop this energy of like, no, when you're on stage, you have to have showmanship.
Yeah.
And honestly, going a little bit further back to my college days, my professor said showmanship is very important. Like you want the people to believe what you're putting out, and just going a little spiritual.
Which is hard if you don't have, say, like a personality to work with, or just even like a persona that is built.
Like you said, going a little further spiritually. My mom had she had this energy where she could walk into a room and change the atmosphere.
That's funny because you do too. Easily.
Which
I've experienced it. I love that I have
I
too.
take that as a badge of honor because
It's amazing.
my mom poured good things into me.
Yeah.
And
agree.
I watched as a little boy, watch my mom go into a room where people were just angry, had a lot of tension,
Yeah.
and she would just come in and say, "Hey, everybody," and it's like everybody would just let their hair down,
Yeah.
and it took over and consumed the room. And then I get the other part because I'm charming.
Yeah.
From my dad.
Yeah, you are.
My dad is a very charming man.
That's awesome.
There's no reason for you to.
I've met him. He's amazing. He's
There's
so
no
sweet.
reason for you to dislike him.
No.
So being raised by those two, it was like they were pouring into me and teaching me how to be to other people, how to be kind, the importance of being kind, the importance of always looking out for people, especially those who look out for you.
Yeah.
But also communication. Communication is so important because that's how you grow.
I agree. That's an awesome answer, man. And I want to get into kind of a segment that I'm going to do here. So it involves a game that I love to play.
I like so
but it's very simple. It's literally, these are random questions and a little thing called Spark.
Do I win?
Maybe. I don't know. We
win?
should figure that out. Maybe a t-shirt? Maybe. It could be. We'll figure that out after post. I think it should be a t-shirt. Well.
I like food.
Okay. I'll get you some food.
It's
I
okay.
got you. But so these are random questions,
Okay.
and literally I don't know the question. I'm just gonna kind of pick one out, and then I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to answer the question, and it is random, and I'll answer it too. Why not? Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So first question. Okay. What do you wish people better understood about you? You have 30 seconds. Go.
That I'm an extroverted introvert. I might have made that up, but like, as much as I love people, sometimes like I like to just be by myself.
Yeah.
And when you're used to someone being so bubbly, all the time, when I'm in my, I guess when my hair is down, sometimes I'm quiet. Sometimes I like to observe. Sometimes I just like to be by myself.
Yeah.
And people don't get that.
That's
So understand. It's not that I dislike anybody. It's just like sometimes I'm in my head for peace.
Yeah.
Okay. Peace is important.
All right. 30 seconds. All right, my turn. So what do I wish people better understood about me? I think that I can talk about anything I'm someone that's very non-confrontational, and I will talk any conversation in such a light tone. I would love to talk more politics in my life, more things that have just maybe a more heated possibility to a conversation. And I'm very soft with how I speak about that because I think I'm a big lover of just people. So I'd say that's my answer. But let's do one more question. Because I love a good spark. I do it with my friends all the time. Oh, this is a good question. Okay, so since you know me, and I'll answer for you, and I'll answer first just because it's about you. This interview is about Sanpriest.
Okay.
So the question is, what do you think is my biggest fear? So I'm gonna try to guess yours, and then you try to guess mine, and then we'll see if we're close.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go your biggest fear. I'm gonna go with something concrete.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is right.
Okay.
I have a feeling that you're scared of maybe being lost somewhere. I don't know why. I have a feeling that maybe like if you found and I could be way wrong, but like if you found yourself in like a jungle and you're like, and I think the thoughts of being in a jungle would be like, whoa, am I right or no? Am I way off?
So surprisingly, I'm actually really good. I have a really good sense of direction.
Dang.
So before I get lost, I pay attention to everything. Like I walked in here, I looked at every exit.
Yeah.
I always like to retrace my steps because I used to have a fear of being lost.
Oh, gosh.
I used to have a fear of being kidnapped because I'm so little.
Yeah.
They're like, get in my bed.
You're not that little though.
I'm not getting in there.
That's funny.
There's big guys in this world.
You told me I'm a big person. I don't think I'm that tall. But
to me, you are.
Yeah.
But not in a. No, you're big.
Okay, I'm a little big.
Yeah,
6'2", not too big.
Compared to 5'6".
That's true. That's true.
I keep my half. My fear. I used to fear the unknown. I don't want to verbalize something that I'm pushing through.
Yeah.
Like I always wanted to move in a way where I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Because it kept me sane.
Okay.
But then I realized like I can't control the future. I can only embrace it and figure out how to move with it.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. I like it. All right. What do you think I fear?
feel like I'm not gonna say you fear success, but I feel like you get into this mindset of like, maybe I don't deserve this just yet.
So I would say that is true, but I don't know where my brain was like, I fear submarines. Like, and I do. You're right though.
Okay,
submarines is so like.
Okay, if we're having a true confession.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of zombies.
Really?
I'm terrified. Won't even watch. I didn't watch Scooby Doo on Zombie Island because it terrified me.
Well, zombies are interesting, and I saw this online recently, but I think like, well, because flesh rots, so zombies wouldn't be able to last long because it would have to be a specific zombie. Think about that. If you can last for a certain amount, like I think I don't know, I could be wrong, but it's like a day, and then flesh eventually decomposes. I could be wrong.
No, it takes longer than a day.
Well, I think it does, but like once you get past a certain point, like there's no way a zombie could last because it would be bones by then. Like it would have to, because like flesh has to.
I mean, it rots, but especially if you look at certain movies, like certain zombies.
But there's your problem: is movies.
I don't watch them.
Well, I think they're wrong on how that might work. I think there might be something that happens that's already happened in the government that they maybe hid.
Of course. I mean, we have a zombie. It's a zombie fungi.
Is there really one?
Yes, it's really.
Well, does it? So it affects the brain.
It's already affected insects, and it's now moved from insects to.
And they're eating the colonies that they're in. Like okay, so they're cannibalistic kind of now.
The smart thing about ants, they actually remove them. Like if they see that they're infected, they know that they're off.
Okay.
So they remove them. They take them far out so that they can't affect anyone else. But it is infectious because.
Wait, who's taking them far off?
The colony.
The colonies. Okay,
like,
so
like,
people are actually like you got to go.
Yeah, the ants are like we don't play that.
Here. Yeah, but I feel like we're not smart enough to do that.
No, we are. We just don't.
We don't want to. We're emotionally attached.
We are. All of these things.
We can save that zombie. No, you can't.
No, but that is my friend.
Yeah.
You know them? Yeah.
But they gotta go.
What's their name? Zombie.
Yeah, Zombie.
Zombie gotta die. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining the Spark. That was awesome. This is something that I love. Is one of my favorite games. But
I want to bring this to my friends.
You can buy it. It's part of another YouTube channel called Yes Theory. So the next thing I want to get into is the building of. Well, actually, before we get into that, we talked about earlier when we were not on camera, just kind of about the fans. And I would love for you to tell me a story about something that's touched your heart by someone that looks up to you musically.
So there's been a couple of moments, and I don't want to say names, but there's been a few people that's come up to me and just told me like, I really appreciate your push because you've inspired me to push.
Yeah. Is that just in life, like push
through where they were stuck?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get to a place where they're complacent or they just stop believing in themselves because they've seen or heard so many no's, or they don't have the type of support that they thought that they should have with their idea or their vision. But I had to, and I preach this daily. You have to believe in yourself first before anyone else can believe in you. You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to show up to your own events. You have to put 110% on every stage or everything that you want to do in order to see it thrive. Because if you don't believe in what it is that you do, or you give up on it, then the vision dies.
Yeah,
don't let your vision die if you have the keys and the potential to take your vision somewhere else. Everybody's not going to see it. Yeah,
and that's what's interesting. I think a lot of people, from what I've noticed about, I can talk from my own experiences, but I'd say one thing I can easily do is stand up for somebody, but it can be really hard to stand up for myself. And I think because you're the only one that's technically experiencing that, so it's all on you to make that better. And I think that's a lesson that not many people know. Like, it really does take a lot of courage, and it's hard. Like, it is hard, but I think a huge compliment, and I would say that to you too, is like you really do, when it comes to the push of loving yourself and just going after things that you know you want, and the manifestation, it is impressive and something I look up to, because you are a good friend of mine. Like, you are, this is the first edition, but like I've known you now for a few months, and I am so in awe of just what you're becoming. But I wanted to also move into, since we're kind of talking about, yeah, go ahead.
There was something that you said in regards to not loving yourself. Like you can love everybody else a little bit more than you do yourself.
Yeah.
I might be paraphrasing, but loving yourself allows you to love everyone even more.
Yeah.
So you have to pour into yourself before you pour into everyone else. Everyone should benefit from your overflow.
Yeah.
So let's say that this is your
That
cup.
is such a good quote. I gotta write that down.
Let's say that this is your cup.
Yeah.
You got to pour into yourself first so that everything around you can benefit from your overflow.
Yeah.
But if your cup is empty, then you can't benefit.
I mean, you know Halsey, right? You know, I filled your cup until it overflowed.
No.
You know, yeah.
See? But what about his
Halsey,
cup?
man. That's true. Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. And I think, so just kind of going back on the struggles of, say, filling up someone else's cup versus not your own, I would love to talk about just when it comes to the struggles of artistry and the starting out of where you came from. Because I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but you had a 5 to 5, is that right? Like worked 5 to 5, an AM to PM?
Yes.
What is that? That's 12 hours.
Yeah, plus some depending on the situation.
And this was during the artistry making.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about that, like when it came to making, because I'm kind of in that position right now, but not I'd say as hard as that, because I'm a server.
Mm-hmm.
But what is that feeling? Where were the struggles when it came to finding that energy? And talk to me about how you kind of overcame them.
Okay, so I'll give you a quick backstory. I'll make it as quick as I can. So, I graduated from college, got my master's, left. I was working a job that was not in my master's at all, but I did this. I want to move away.
Yeah.
So before I left, I ended up doing a show in Fayetteville, Dreamgirls. I was Curtis, the shortest Curtis you'll find, but I delivered. A man.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
So after that, that was my last time performing because I moved to Phoenix. When I moved to Phoenix, this job told me that I would work. Before I moved, they said I would work Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I moved.
They lied to you?
They lied to me.
Bro.
So I moved to Phoenix from North Carolina. This is my biggest move.
Are you from Phoenix?
No, I'm from Charlotte.
Okay, you're from here. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
So that was like my biggest move.
Yeah.
I'm moving cross country at this point. I have no friends, have no family, just to find out that my hours of operation is Wednesday to Saturday from 5:30 p.m. and I wouldn't get out there until 5:30 a.m. or sometimes later.
You did? Oh, so you did a night shift?
Oh. So I didn't, and it was through the weekend. So I would have Sunday off, but what are you doing on Sunday? You're asleep.
That's true.
You're asleep, so I could not get out and meet people.
Yeah.
I could not. There's a lot of things I couldn't do.
Yeah. Man, that's a lot.
But getting back into that, there's like a lot of things I could not do, so I started to feel depressed. I couldn't get out and do music. I couldn't go meet people to do music or find out about musical theater, anything.
Yeah.
And then I lost my mom. So I stopped singing. I stopped singing for 2 years. I wouldn't open my mouth. I was depressed. I lost my best friend, and then I was trying to find love through other people because I'm in a city where I know no one. So I felt like I lost the love of my life, and I can't find love.
I think, well, I want to piggyback off that because a few people that know me know that I've lost my dad. And one thing about that is you can't fully put it into words with losing a parent. But one thing I feel like it gave me, and I'm very curious, I want to dive into this for a hot second about just losing a parent, is that it gives you a big perspective on life in a different way. For me, like I love my dad. I still do. Like he's hopefully watching over me right now. But one thing that it taught me was just how I want to treat and be with my future kids. And I, there was years where I had so many questions because his death was unexpected. And it's really hard. But I think, and I'm very happy I'm at this point. I'm curious what your thoughts are too, just with your mom passing. But like, it really does open your eyes to a life that you want for yourself. At least it did for me. And it made me appreciate a lot more, just not just about family, but just in general, like being kind to people, making sure you check in on people. And I'm just curious, like what kind of happened with you when that happened, and how are you able to kind of get out of it?
Okay.
So, yeah.
So again, I'm living in Phoenix, and
Yeah.
I get a phone call. Mind you, my mom had just learned how to start playing iPhone games.
Really?
We were playing iPhone games daily. And we found out she had cancer in April, but I'm like, she gonna make it. She gonna make it. We were playing iPhone games daily, and they started to slow down.
Yeah.
Her
the iPhone game started to slow down. Okay.
Her response time started to slow down, and then I finally got a phone call from my dad. He was like, "Son, you need to come home because it's not looking good."
Okay.
I'm in Phoenix. I don't have enough money.
This is in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. She lives in Charlotte, so I didn't have enough money to get home. But luckily, someone came through. They gave me a buddy pass, and I got on that. I was the first one on there. They let me on that plane.
Wow.
And then I got on the plane, and I made it back. I got to the hospital just in time to see her, and she gave me the biggest scream. She was like, "My baby, my baby." And it made me feel so good in that moment because it lets me know that even though I was across the way and I didn't know what was going on, she still held out for me.
Yeah.
And 30 minutes later, we lost her. And I just spiraled. Yeah. I spiraled out of control, and I really lost myself. And it took me years because I still didn't even. I cried one time at her funeral, and I couldn't release. But I started to pray, and I think prayer is very important. I can't speak for everyone.
Yeah.
But you have your own connection to God, and I started to pray, and I started to pray for this release because I felt so heavy. And the more I prayed, the more I was able to release, and that's when I realized that tears are not a bad thing. Tears help you release and understand so that you can push through to the next day. And then I started to speak to her and say, "What is it that you see that I can't?"
Yeah.
Guide me. And the more I started to see this, I realized that we had the same dreams.
Yeah.
She wrote music.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote plays.
Yeah.
She literally did everything that I'm doing. She was fashionable, all of these things. And someone said, some random person came up to me and said, "Well, don't get caught up in your mom's dreams. You got to live your own dreams." And I corrected them.
Someone said that.
I corrected them. I said, "It's just a coincidence that we share the same passion and the same dream. So I'm not living her dreams. We're just able to celebrate together."
That is so special, and something that I feel like I have friends, and obviously myself, who have lost parents, and it's crazy how similar parents are to their kids. Obviously, like just with genes and with personalities, like that's bound to happen. But that connection doesn't get lost.
It does not.
And I mean, daily almost I think about my dad, and it's a good thing. It's like it is the connection I still keep with him, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people should always take advantage of because it does give people power. I mean, it gives athletes power, it gives musicians power, any person, any field, it doesn't matter. So thank you for opening up about that. But I wanted to lighten the mood just a little bit because I know that's always I want to make sure we get up a little bit.
Talking about that,
thank you for telling us. Like
honest opinion, like an honest thing. Like sometimes, because I'm still learning to deal with it, grieve. I'm still grieving.
Yeah.
So sometimes talking about death, like if someone loses someone or things like that, I kind of tense up, and I have to tell people because I feel like transparency is key. I'm like, "Hey, I'm here for you. I can make you laugh, but there's just certain things I'm just not mentally ready for because I'm still learning how to get there. Maybe you can help me."
Yeah, I mean, you're a good friend of mine. I definitely want to, but I wanted to get into. We have two more pieces left, two more things. But I told you before the show to give me two truths and a lie because I love this game.
Okay.
And I told if you can make it musically, if you don't, no worries. But I'm gonna try to guess the lie. So I want you to hit me with them. Let me see what I can do.
Okay.
First one. Don't tell me which one.
My parents were pastors.
Okay. That's one?
That's one.
Okay.
My grandmother was an opera singer.
Okay.
And my granddad
stuck.
was a singer in a band.
Okay. So grandma's an opera singer, granddad's singer in a band, and then your parents are pastors. Okay. Don't have to explain too much, but I want you to explain the truths pretty quickly. But I'm gonna go. I think your parents are pastors. I do think your parents are pastors. I don't think your granddad sings. I think it's another profession. I think you twisted the truth a little bit. I think the opera singer thing is definitely possible. I'm gonna go granddad.
Wrong.
Dang. Wait, so what's the truth?
The truth. So my granddad on
He's
my
a singer.
my granddad on my dad's side. I didn't get to meet him, but they told me they were like he was a singer. He
Really?
He
What type of band?
wanted to be a singer, and he started a band.
Okay. Do you remember what type?
Nope.
Okay, that's cool though. Good for him. That's
so
hard.
Like, why didn't you guys tell me this sooner?
I got this. This is what I have now.
It's gonna get to a point that I'm gonna make, which is kind of cool. But yes, my parents are pastors.
Yes. Okay. I think you told me that too. I was like,
PK in the house.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I was like, I think I remember that. So
my grandma was not an opera singer.
dang, I was really hoping. That sounds so cool.
Neither one of my grandmothers can sing.
Okay. Okay, got you.
The crazy thing about it is, with people before you, because again, my mom had the same gifts. Yeah. My grandparents, my mom's granddad played the bass. These are people who had dreams that came before me. So it's like some days I'll feel them like kind of pushing me.
Yeah.
Like, so you know how you felt like you had people watching over you?
Yeah.
I feel like my ancestors sometimes push me and say, no, you're the person that we believe in. We see and we support what you're doing because this is right.
Yeah.
This is like, you're going to break generational curses.
Yeah.
You're going to do the things that we wanted to do. You listen, you've been paying attention to everything. I pay attention to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not for bad things, but if somebody's telling you what they went through and they're telling you their testimony for a reason, you have to listen to the keys and the clues that they're dropping so that you don't do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So you can get better.
I agree. That's a great answer.
That's the whole purpose of a testimony.
You're right. You're right. So last segment that I wanted to go over, and I think this is a very good way to end it. I just want to real quick, like when it comes to this journey, what is kind of, and you don't have to dive too deep, but what is the thing that keeps you going? And I'm not talking about more like when it comes to people, what are you noticing from the people that care about Sanpriest? Because there's so many of us. What is something that gives you energy that is from someone else or a group of people or just your fans that you're like, man, I got to keep this going. I see. Like,
so I'm going to say two things. The first one's going to be very selfish.
No worries.
I did this for myself first because I had a dream and I watched myself push past my own dreams to support everybody else. Yeah. I showed up to everybody's stuff. I did everything I possibly could to be the best friend that I could to people. Yeah. There may not.
Which you're in a great relationship too, by the way. A fantastic guy. He's amazing.
Which I'll get into.
Yeah.
But I did that for myself first because you get into the space where you do all this great stuff for people, but what about you? Yeah. And so I made a promise to myself that I'm going to love myself first and do the work. Yeah. Because I stopped wanting to prove people wrong. I wanted to prove myself right. There you go. Because I believe in this. Yeah. And so that's my first motivation.
Okay. What's the second?
My second motivation is getting the feedback to know that the ministry that you are putting out into this world is actually changing people's lives for the better. I consider myself a very healing person, a very therapeutic person, a person of peace, and that peace carries on through my music. Yeah. It takes over the crowd, and it inspires people. Yeah. And getting that feedback lets me know that I'm walking in my destiny. And it lets me know that because I pray, I said, Lord, I do not want my gift to only be beneficial to me, but I want it to also be beneficial to others so that they can grow. Yeah. So to see people growing, stepping out, doing things they never thought. My background singers, they all stopped singing for a while. Really? Or they always had a dream that they didn't act on. So bringing this music to them, they practiced without me. They took it upon themselves to meet when I wasn't even there just to make sure that they did great on the show because they believed in it. That is
awesome. My goodness. That is a great answer. Before we go, what's coming up?
So what's coming up? A break.
A break. We love a break.
No, but so I'm planning to drop 2 more singles. I've been dropping one every month. That's been my goal. So I have another one that's dropping next month.
Love it. I'll be out for it. Tukr'D will support.
Of course.
Come on now.
Oh, also I was top. I made the top 100 playlist on Amazon in the UK. I was number 62. Somebody randomly sent me that.
That's awesome.
I made Live Urban Nation's playlist of the month.
Okay.
Like my streams are going up. So
They
let's
are.
go. But I'm gonna drop another single next month, and I'm gonna drop one more in May, and then I plan to release my album this year.
Awesome. That's so exciting. Well,
Yes.
I just want to give a closing statement real quick on how much I look up to you. I met you through So Far Sounds, which is a company I work for. And I immediately, we clicked with energy, and it was something I didn't realize I needed. And now I usually MC with some of those performances, and I've gotten to introduce you, and it's always such a pleasure, and it's so genuine because I'm starting to realize, like, man, if you're going to get into this music industry, find people you care about. Do not find people that are just going to say, give you money or just give you time, like people that you care about. And what usually happens with that, I'm noticing, is that not only do you find people you care about, but you find moments that end up getting you to the glory. And I've noticed you've been a part of so many of those moments for me, and you were such a good person to be on the first edition of Tukr'D Out. So I just want to thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Sanpriest. I can't wait to see you for part 2 of this.
Yes.
So
I have a question.
Okay.
Well, one, I'm going to pour into you before this camera goes off.
Okay.
I think you have been doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
You have this aura about you where everyone feels warm and welcome. And you gave me my first best introduction. It was like I just sat there and looked at you and was just like, oh, and you kept going. I was like, oh, but like but it's genuine. None of it felt rehearsed. None of it felt forced. It felt like you really took time to get to know me as a person. And that meant the world to me. And I feel like what you are doing now, this is dope. And it fits you.
I appreciate it. Dude, I love you so much. Praise everybody. Come back for the next episode of Tukr'D Out. See you then.
But if you don't want to take this ride, baby, that's cool. But the show must go on. So long, farewell.